Hello everybody. Today you're going to learn how to build workflows inside your SuiteCRM system and how to automate your business processes. My name is Bastian Hammer, your go-to expert when it comes to all things CRM, e-commerce, marketing automation and sales integration. So let's go. Okay, I assume your CRM system is up and running. You're entering data, your whole team is working on it, and it seems to be fine. The problem is just in order to get all the data that you need for your reports and that everybody else needs for continuing working on leads and on all your processes, there's just more data entry that is being required. So how about you simply automate some parts of your processes and make the work for your team much smoother? That works in 4 fairly easy steps. Number 1, you have to define the process. Number 2, best of all, check the data. So even if you define the process and your team tells you, okay, this is how it works, double check the data because it might not be as it works. Number 3, add the workflow. So build the workflow. And number 4, simply test it and deploy it eventually to your team. So let's go. First of all, we define a process. Let's assume you've got this web formula on your website and the visitors on your website will fill in the form, will fill in the details. And once they click on send, the data is being transferred into your CRM system. Now you've got new leads incoming. The business process now looks like this. If they're coming from your website, then you want to call them as soon as possible because you know they are currently on the website, on the computer, on their mobile phone, and they're kind of receptible to your offer, to your questions that you've got. Therefore, what you want to do is you receive the lead and automatically there should be a phone call being created inside your CRM system. Then that's the process definition. The second part would be to check the data. I will skip it now because it's kind of a new process, but if you have like an existing process and you have a requirement, meaning like the lead source always needs to be the website, for instance, and just nobody ever did this, or maybe the web form which is currently out there is not filling it properly. So you can even build your workflow, your automation, but it just doesn't trigger because it's not properly implemented or the data is just not there. I can quickly check whether the data for a new process would be here by going to lead source, edit the lead source, and then I'll see whether we've got website as an option. And yes, we do. So now you just have to first figure out, is the data value available in the CRM system? And second, is it actually being filled? If it's not being filled, maybe you're producing a completely new workflow, and then it's totally fine because it will be for the future. Okay, step number 3, now we have to build the workflow. Let's get to it. How to start this? So I would simply go and jump into the admin panel and you can see Workflow Manager here already. So I go to this one. It's a complete new CRM system just installed with the demo data. So here's no workflow yet predefined. And I'll do this now. So I create a new workflow. And now there are a couple of header data or header information that I have to input before I can get into the automation of things. But it's very important. So first of all, choose a reasonable name for your workflow. So here I would just say like create call from lead, because this is exactly what this workflow should be doing. Assign to, just in case you're working with different roles or different people, and then it makes sense to assign it to somebody. But if it's just like 1, 2 admins, usually they're good with communication and they know what they did and what the other person did. So the workflow module will be the leads because we want to create a call from the leads. So leads is the source module. Status, active, deactivated. So that's important just in case you want to skip something for later on, but at the moment it's all fine. We want to have this active. Run. So the first interesting distinction here is, when do you want to run this workflow? Do you want it to run it only in the scheduler? So it's possible to build workflows for the scheduler that do something maybe once a night or once a month or something, or only on save. So in this case, save is totally fine with me, because new lead is being created, means like it's being saved, and then I want to trigger this workflow. And I only want to do this on new records because, just because the new record comes in and then the call should be created. Repeated runs won't work for us because it's only on new records. But if I do modify it, and let's quickly change to this one. So if I would be working on modifying a record, and then I want to repeatedly run it, maybe like recalculating some values, then I would need to do repeated runs. In our case, we don't need it. And it's all good, and we can start. One more thing, run on import, just in case I want to import something, and then should this be ran or not? Because if you have bigger imports, larger imports, maybe you want to deactivate it or not use this in the first place. But if you have like data imports from one specific data supplier and you want to have like one specific workflow running on those, then you would do run on import. Okay, add conditions. So first of all, I don't want to do this with all the leads. So here for the leads module, I have all the fields available now. And the field that is most interesting to me would be equal to website. So if the lead source is being set to website, and then I want to run or trigger this workflow here, that means you need to be a bit careful. So just in case you've got like 2 or 3 different places where leads are coming from, and it could be that multiple places are producing this value here. So they're selecting lead source equals website. And then you need to be careful, does this workflow fit all of them? Or is it just for one specific lead source, like website 1 or website 2? In case you need to distinguish, maybe work with dynamic dropdown. Check out my video on the fields about dynamic dropdowns, and then you can distinguish those here in a clearer way. So now we are sure this condition can be met later on, and then actions, that's basically what we want to do now. And here I would simply add an action, and I've got a couple of options here: create record, modify, send email, calculate fields. And you already can estimate how powerful this whole workflow tool is, because you can do all those things at the moment. Just to start with a very simple one, create a record. Now I want to create a call. So, and here I would pick my record type, calls. Now, one great feature relate to workflow module. In case in your destination module, like a call, and the call should be related to the lead that just came in. And then I can automatically relate this here from my workflow module. So I don't have to save any IDs and store the IDs in related fields or something. So it makes things very easy. Then I want to have a couple of fields that I'm adding here. And the first one may be assigned to value field. And then you can already see here, you've got a couple of options as well. So in case you're doing lead distribution in your team, check those things out. But in my case, it would be important that I run it to the, that I have the phone call being conducted by the same person who owns the lead as well. So assigned to the lead equals assigned to the call. Then for the subject, there. And now I can select value. And here I can simply write something like first discovery call. So we know exactly, okay, this is the standard call. This always comes, and we do this one here, from website form, so that everybody knows in the sales department, like this came from the website form, and it's always the standard discovery call. It has got a start date, and the start date, I don't want to set it to a value which I select here, and I don't want to set it to a field from the lead because it doesn't really exist in the lead. Therefore, I'm going here into a date, and now again it's very powerful. Check this one out. So I can select now, which is totally good for us, but I can even do more things. Today, this field, date created, date modify, and so on. And here I can even add differences, so now plus 30 minutes, for instance. Again, I don't want to do this at the moment, so now should just be now, because the person has just submitted the form, and we want to be fast on this one. Then we'll do a description. And in order to make it very easy, so I had like a couple of projects where we did this in different ways. Description could be the internal description inside a lead, where we would say something like, this lead's daughter's birthday is at blah, blah, blah. And then we've got some information about the lead, which is meant to be used internally. And then in other projects, we used a field, which is like external description or like message from the lead. And there we would copy and paste or like automatically integrate the web form, if they have left a message on the web form, into this external field. And then you could use this external field. So I'm the lead, I'm going to the web form, I say something like, I want to know more about feature set or whatever. And then I can integrate those two fields. So from the lead module, I use the description field or the external description field and put it into the call description field. It makes it easy because for like a salesperson, they just need to open the next call, and then they already have all the information, like the message from the lead there at hand. And then there's another thing, which is basically like clean data later on, for instance, the direction. So I can say it's inbound or outbound, and of course it's outbound because I received this and now I want to go after this lead. So then I can double check it quickly. Looks all good to me, and I would simply say save. And now we have to, the next step, we have to test it. So testing, how does it work? We can either go to the web form and fill out the data there, or we produce some test data here. So first, last, and very important for testing the description as well. I can fill in this one now, question about feature set. And lead source, very important because this is our trigger, remember? It needs to be the website. So I select the website, and now I click on save, and you see that nothing special happened here. It's just a lead, as the lead always is. But if we go to calls, then I should be having my first discovery call from website form, exactly. And it's related to first and last 01, which I just created and assigned to me because for testing, I created it as an admin. But as you see, this is the option of how to automatically create data, automatically help with data entry, and you can directly use this one now. There, question about feature set, perfect. Somebody from the sales department can directly go into this here and start calling now. Okay, let's quickly recap. We have gone through a 4-step process. First of all, we have defined the process that we wanted to automate inside our CRM system. Then for existing data, we would have had to check it carefully whether it's really correct as we've been told, like this is always what happens then, these fields are filled out in this way. Is it really the case? For new processes, of course, you won't have the data there. or maybe you won't have the data there yet, and you can build it up newly. Then step number 3, we have built the workflow so that it's reacting to the correct module, it's being triggered at the correct timings. And then step number 4, we have tested whether it really works as well. Thank you very much for watching. That's all, and see you next time. Bye.